Every one of man's greatest accomplishments on the planet to date began in the same place, the mind. Before man could fly, there was the idea of a flying machine. And before man went to the moon, there was the thought of a man traveling there. Even before we had the internet, the idea of this database that contained all information known to man had to be conceived. Before anything existed that you could feel and hold in your hands or see with your eyes, it had to be a thought, an idea. And some seem like pretty impossible ideas. I mean, what do you think they told the Wright brothers when they said, "Hey, we're gonna make man fly"? They thought they were crazy. And what about when Alexander Graham Bell came and said, "Hey, I made this device, it's gonna allow you to talk to people in other cities"? They thought it was a scam, literally witchcraft. The point I'm trying to make here is that any and all ideas, no matter how impossible they seem at the time, have the potential to become things. Now, if you look at the world from a scientist's perspective, they're going to tell you that everything is essentially made up of the same stuff. It's just arranged in different ways. Everything is energy. Now, energy is a concept that can be really difficult to understand because it's not something that we can see with our eyes, but it's a quality that things have. In fact, if we look at things with our senses, they're going to tell us that most things are essentially solid, when that's not the case at all. Everything is made out of atoms, and atoms are 99.99% empty space. If you actually took away all the empty space that makes up every human body on the planet, we would all fit inside an apple. It's pretty impossible to comprehend, but all this empty space is where the magic happens. This is where all electrons are flying around, zooming at supersonic speeds, and where attractive forces are in place, keeping atoms together in a way that makes them appear to be solid. This overwhelming amount of space is what we can call energy. And everything that you can see, hear, taste, touch, and smell is energy in some form. And masses of energy, like the human body, are vibrating at incredibly high speeds. We call the speed of these vibrations frequency. And since everything is made up of energy, what really differentiates one thing from another is the frequency that it's vibrating at. We call a rock because of the frequency that it has. And we call a tree because of the frequency it has. We even call the human body because of the frequency that this massive energy is vibrating at. So if everything is energy, then thought waves must also be energy. Now we can think of thought waves the same way that we think about sound waves or light waves or electricity. Just because you can't see the light waves that are reaching your eyes right now and allowing you to watch this video, doesn't mean they aren't there. What we have to realize is thought waves are just forms of energy that have not yet been transformed into a matter that we can see and touch and hold and experience in 3D. And we can actually hook someone up to a computer and measure their thought waves. Thoughts are things. It helps when we understand the limit of our human senses. Did you know that you can only see about 0.0035% of the entire electromagnetic light spectrum? There's literally so much going around you that you can't even see. And if you've ever used a dog whistle, then you understand it's a device that emits a frequency so high that your ears cannot perceive it. There's an entire world operating outside of your senses, and this is the realm in which thought waves operate. So now that we've established that everything is energy, we have to understand the law of conservation of energy. And if you have a science background, then you're really familiar with this concept. The law states that energy is neither created nor destroyed, but only transformed. So if everything is energy, and energy can never be created or destroyed, then everything that has ever been created or will be created already exists. Creation is done. It's all already here. So when the Wright brothers drafted the first idea for the airplane, they didn't create that idea. All they did was tune into the frequency of that idea. They tuned into a world which currently existed outside of man's senses, a world in which man could fly. We must realize that thoughts are just as real as the thing that we see with our eyes. Thoughts are things, they are destinations, and they already exist. And that makes your job really simple. Become efficient at transforming thought energy into something physical. And this is a concept that we're going to be talking a lot about in future videos. But at the very least, I hope that this video gives you a sense of relief in knowing that all of the craziest dreams you've ever seen for yourself are real possibilities that exist. And just because you've seen them with your mind already means that you've already tuned into their frequency. Thank you so much for watching, and here is your reminder to enjoy every precious moment. For more videos like this one, follow @themindpalace.ca on Instagram, like @themindpalace.ca on Facebook, and subscribe to the Mind Palace channel on YouTube.